Have you ever noticed someone across a room? You haven't spoken, they haven't said anything, and yet something about the way they look at you makes you wonder, are they attracted to me? Here's what most people get wrong. Attraction isn't always expressed through words. Sometimes the strongest signals are the ones people don't realize they're sending. A glance, a pause, the direction of their body, and one subtle behavior that most people completely overlook. In this video, we're breaking down 7 psychological signals of silent attraction. And number 7 is the one people often mistake for simple politeness. Let's start with one of the easiest signals to notice. Imagine you're talking to a group of people. Someone may be looking at the person who's speaking, but their feet, shoulders, or torso keep turning toward you. That doesn't automatically mean attraction, but when someone's attention repeatedly returns to you, their body can sometimes reveal where their attention is going. And here's the important part. Don't judge one signal by itself. Look for patterns, because one glance means almost nothing. Repeated behaviors mean much more. You look at them, they look away, then they look back. That second look can be more interesting than the first. Why? Because the first glance may be completely accidental. The second glance suggests that something brought their attention back. But again, don't assume it automatically means romantic attraction. People look at others for hundreds of reasons. The clue becomes stronger when the second look happens together with other signals, for example, a smile, a change in posture, or suddenly becoming more aware of how they appear. And that's where things get interesting. Have you ever noticed someone suddenly fixing their hair, straightening their clothes, adjusting their posture, or becoming more conscious of how they're sitting? And this can happen when people become more aware of how they're being perceived. And attraction can sometimes increase that self-awareness, but there's a psychological distinction you need to remember. Self-awareness is not proof of attraction. The real clue is a pattern. Does this behavior happen specifically when you're around? Does it repeat? Does it happen alongside eye contact and positive engagement? When several signals appear together, the pattern becomes much more meaningful. This one is subtle. Someone who normally seems quiet suddenly becomes more talkative around you, or someone who's usually confident becomes slightly nervous. They may laugh more, speak faster, play with their hands, or suddenly seem unusually focused on the conversation. Why? Because attraction can increase emotional arousal, and emotional arousal can change behavior. But here's the twist. Nervousness isn't always attraction. Someone can be nervous because they're uncomfortable. That's why context matters. You aren't trying to decode one behavior. You're looking for a consistent behavioral pattern. This is one of the strongest social signals in the entire video. You casually mention something once, maybe your favorite coffee, a story about your weekend, something you said several conversations ago, and later they remember it. Why does that matter? Because attention is selective. People don't remember everything they hear. They tend to remember information that feels personally meaningful or emotionally important. So when someone consistently remembers small details about you, it may indicate that they've been paying close attention. And attention is one of the foundations of interpersonal connection. Sometimes it's incredibly ordinary. They ask another question. Even after the conversation could have ended, they find a reason to continue talking. They stay nearby a little longer, or they bring up something you discussed earlier. None of these behaviors proves attraction, but repeated efforts to maintain interaction can tell you something important. They may genuinely enjoy your presence, and that matters more than trying to decode every individual gesture. Because attraction isn't just about physical appearance, it's also about emotional experience. This is the signal most people overlook. Someone who's genuinely interested in you doesn't just look at you, they pay attention to you, they listen, they respond to what you're actually saying, they notice your reactions, they ask follow-up questions, and they make the interaction feel different from a random conversation. That's because meaningful attraction isn't simply, I like how this person looks. It can become, I like how I feel when I'm around this person. And that's a much deeper psychological experience. Now here's the mistake I want you to avoid. People see one behavior and immediately create a story. She looked at me. She smiled. She touched her hair. She must be attracted to me. Not necessarily. Human behavior is complicated. A single signal can have dozens of explanations. The smarter approach is to look for clusters of behavior. Eye contact, repeated attention, positive engagement, remembering details, and finding reasons to continue interacting. When several behaviors appear consistently, that's when the pattern becomes much more interesting. So if you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. Don't read one signal. Read the pattern. One glance means little. Repeated attention means more. One smile means little. Consistent warmth means more. One nervous gesture means little. A repeated change in behavior around you may tell you much more, because the psychology of attraction isn't about finding one magical sign. It's about noticing how someone's behavior changes when you're around. Now I'm curious, which of these signals have you noticed most often? The second look? The body turning toward you, remembering small details, or finding reasons to keep the conversation going? Tell me your answer in the comments, and if you enjoy psychology, human behavior, attraction, and body language breakdowns, subscribe to Psycho Facts Hub, because sometimes the most interesting things people communicate are the things they never actually say.